Glenn, who's away, and Rory, the mayor, who can't be here, and also Sarah Miller, who said to us today that she couldn't be here. So I don't know who else there is that you know.
Those are the only apologies that I've just.
Okay,
They've edited as well. Missing.
they've written as well.
Is missing, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, declarations of interest?
No.
None at all, thank you. Public participation? None at all. Thank you. The minutes then, first of all, the town and community minutes, and then the events committee meeting. So are there any questions about the town and community minutes?
No.
No, that's fine. I propose we can't approve them, can we?
Well, we have.
No, it can't. So it will go to the
Let's go to
next,
the next meeting.
next meeting to approve. Yeah.
Okay, so then the events subcommittee.
I do have, there's an error. The VE Day celebrations are 18th, not 17th. So I don't know when they're corrected now or when we have our next event.
It'd be the next it'd be the subcommittee meeting that
Right,
that would
Bit of a pity
that
that,
would
yeah.
correct and approve them.
yeah, bit of a pity that.
Right, so then let's go on, if you're happy, to
Mhm.
the communications manager update. Are there any questions on that? I have one.
Mhm.
Go ahead then, Mr. Chair.
Right. There was one comment on the agenda, on the minutes, which says that posters advising what wildflowers and why they are planted in the venture playground to be produced. I didn't see that as part of the communications manager.
They're not done yet, just because I need to get Kyle together to go through exactly what there is.
Okay.
Things growing and things, but yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
on my list.
when do you anticipate being able to complete
For the
it?
next meeting, it will be done, but it's partly done, just needs to be finished.
So, any other comments on the communications managers?
You say the marketing plans, now they've been approved, are starting work on
Yeah,
second one. When do you think they're going to be ready? Have you got a date for that, or
what do you mean? ready?
you say you're working on section one? When are you?
Yeah, so the marketing plans all have 3 sections basically, which cover kind of a third of the year each.
Oh, I see. Right.
So
Yeah.
I've just started
Yeah.
on the first
Yep.
third of the year.
Okay. Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
So at the moment, so working on a wedding pack.
Wedding
Uh,
brochure, the posters and things for golf and the cemetery brochure. The wedding brochure and cemetery brochure, kind of the draft is together and I'm just taking notes for everyone to edit. So we're getting there.
Are those going to be within your budget, or are they requiring extra?
I'm designing them myself, so they won't cost anything, they'll only cost to print.
All right, well done, thank you.
Are we busy for weddings here? I know we're busy in the cemetery.
Should have weddings in the cemetery.
Could they be related?
Other things in the cemetery, but are weddings, are there
We're
wines
up on
as
this,
ever?
we were up on this time last year,
Really?
but we're not towards the budget is quite high.
Yeah, exactly. So we're down on budget, but up
Mm.
on last year.
Okay.
So it's
Mm.
yeah, it seems to kind of go in waves and fashions and things like that. Wedding venues as well.
Mm.
I think a couple of years ago, there was a big catch up post COVID.
Of
So there
course,
was 2 years
yes,
worth. So
yes.
then it went down last year, but it's up on last year. So hopefully it's
Yeah.
settling again.
Yeah.
But we need to get more people coming,
Yeah,
looking round, but also the people that look round, we need them booking. So we're kind of, I'm talking to the information centre team about how we work on improving that generally, so that and the brochure I think will help if we've got something to actually give people with all the information.
I don't know what the stats are on weddings, you know, how
Well, nationally, you mean.
nationally,
Yeah.
yes,
Well,
yeah.
friends run, I know two people that, I used to be a wedding planner, so I know
Yes.
people that
Yeah.
run them, and they're generally ticking through, and they said exactly it 2 years ago was crazy rush, and it seems to have settled again, but they haven't commented that it's down particularly, but
People
they're
are still
also
thinking
just-
it's a good idea.
there are, people are still getting married, for sure, but it's themes of things become popular, you know, barn weddings become popular.
Yes.
And we've got to approach the people that want that smaller, more intimate kind of, and it tends to be second weddings quite often that they want not such a big deal, but they want an impressive. So that's kind of the market we need to work towards.
so, sorry, you mentioned a brochure.
Yeah,
What else, what other communications are you using?
so I've done a lot of the free listings around, because we weren't even listed on the general weddings that you can get free listings on, so that's an easy win straight
Yeah.
away. But then we're gonna look at, I'm working with Mercedes to look at actually what the bookings have been, what sort of people they are, getting the information centre to put more detail on who's inquiring, so we get more of an idea of where we should be marketing to.
It'd be interesting if it was older people.
Yeah, it tends to be the people I've met,
Yes.
that's only my link,
Yeah.
so I want actual stats to then make potentially an advertising decision based on facts rather than guesses.
Do we have social media on the
Just the
wedding?
town council and the website it is,
Should-
but not a social media page.
Should we have
We
some?
wouldn't have the content, to be honest. We're collecting photos now from photographers and they've been really quite positive about that.
Yeah,
So we've got a few images that go on the general town council page. But I don't think we'd have enough content to warrant its own, you know, weddings at the town hall, social media. I think that might be a struggle.
What sort of feedback do we get
Uh,
after wedding? I
I've
mean, do
never
we
had
do a
anything
sort of follow up
negative. Yeah, no,
like
it's all been
everyone
really-
does for everything?
We tend to have the lovely photos come, you know, months later and the
Yes.
thank you, so
And
there's,
the thank yous,
Yeah.
and that this was nice and that was
yeah,
nice. and- yeah.
exactly.
Do you get feedback form? Did you issue feedback forms to people?
Not
to fill in?
forms as such, we keep it less.
Yeah, okay, but you asked them for,
But yeah.
Yeah,
we
okay,
always do a
yeah.
follow-up.
Parking must be a big problem, I would have thought.
So they get
Yes.
a couple of spaces for
You
staff
give
spaces
them-
behind,
yeah,
if they're
yes.
weekends and things, we can do that.
Yeah,
Then guests have the 2 car parks.
yes, yeah, because it must be quite difficult. If you've got 100 guests, where on earth do they park really? When it's Saturday. They should
Yeah,
come by
yeah.
train.
Mill
or
Meadow,
by-
that's where they need to park.
Mill
Yes,
Meadow,
exactly,
park
and
at Mill
walk,
Meadow.
station car park.
Come on their bike. Both, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, exactly.
right. Are there any other questions? Sorry.
Yes, thank you for the report. Just a couple of follow-up questions, if I may.
Yeah.
So there's a line here about responded to some complaints and clarified some issues in social media.
Yeah.
What were some of those complaints and clarifications that happened? Or should I already have known this?
No, I just don't tend to talk publicly about complaints. with
Okay.
The member of the press is here.
All right. That's fair
Bit of
enough.
hostility.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can discuss them with
Yeah.
you.
That'd be interesting to know.
So they were just small ones.
It was
It's-
fiddly things, it wasn't big issues, it was very fiddly things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think on the minutes from the previous meeting notes, it mentioned that we'd appreciate if relevant hyperlinks could be added. So just wondered if,
Weren't any big ones this time.
well, I suppose it's just a case of if you're referencing the Visit Henley website, if you
Yeah.
could put the website
Oh, okay.
link in, like really,
Okay,
maybe just the
sure.
obvious web links. And then just as we have suggested, posted advising what wildflowers and why they are planted at the Adventure Golf. I see you're doing a leaflet about the cemetery, and I know that there is some wildflower planting at the cemetery as well.
Yeah.
Could that, is that already happening, or could that be integrated into
Yeah,
some kind of notices as well as this leaflet that you?
yeah, we could definitely do
as well?
something,
Could
some
be-
more information down there, because we were talking about the Fairmont as well, giving more information about what flowers are there. So I met someone that had a house in Fairmont, and they didn't know about the wild planting, and in the plans for that, so I think generally we
Yeah.
can do more, for sure.
Yeah, and I think there was this really interesting article posted in Marlow, which we might have referenced in the past, saying they actually put out a
Areas,
post talking
yeah.
about
Saw that
what are
map.
the different, so that
So
could
I've
be,
made a map, a town map,
Oh,
and a
wonderful.
visitors map, so we can then use that for loads of different things. So we can definitely then mark off areas that are being grown wild and do more information on
Yeah,
that. And that gives us the kind of base to do lots of things with it.
would it be possible to see that map?
Yeah, yeah.
Just be on.
Yeah, it,
Right.
yeah, it'll be on the website soon. It's, yeah.
Great. Thank
There,
you.
Councillor Candy mentioned the visit Henley.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on the weddings on Visit Henley?
No,
Should you?
I wouldn't, no, I don't, I could do. I'm thinking where they link, I'd want people to go to town council website, because then they can book viewings and be invested rather than diversifying too far to what is a tourist site.
But if
essentially.
it's a tourist site, then they might want to look at it and then suddenly think that's a good idea.
So we've got information about the town hall, so I can reference that you can get married here,
Okay,
but I wouldn't want to do too much wedding
okay.
on the tourist site.
Sorry.
I would agree that it's something more for kind of like the town council website, but yeah, people looking for wedding venues, they're probably not going to be looking at what is it, like a tourism website. for-
People tend to have a
for-
link with the town. to want to get married here.
Any other comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Come on then to the town centre manager update, and also the as part of that, the tourism and filming update. So any questions on those?
On which the whole
Well,
the whole of the report.
First of all, the town centre manager's report.
Yeah, there was he had a meeting with Washforce about washing and cleaning
Mhm.
the schedule. Is that going to come as a separate report to this to this committee?
Yes, yeah, indeed,
good.
because as you may remember, then there's a 50% increase in the budget for
Yeah.
street cleaning, and it's how that is then deployed, basically.
We are keen to
Yes.
improve our story then.
Mm.
I have a question which relates to a comment the retail forum held to discuss town centre issues. I don't expect an answer now, but what I'd like to know is what were the issues and how are they to be resolved?
I don't think I have a particular report back on the retail forum, but I can certainly ask Paul about that.
Please.
Yeah, if there's something significant to report, it could be a formal report. Otherwise, he can report verbally at the next meeting of the committee.
So any other questions on the town centre manager's report?
I did have another question. The triple bins have been ordered. Is that right?
Yes, so I believe there was a meeting with Glenn was definitely there, I think, to confirm the final design, and so they've been ordered, and yes, and then it would be we're installing. I think the parks team were installing them, so we're doing it in-house, kind of as and when we have capacity. But when they arrive, and they'll be.
Are they a similar design to the new ones that are going in, which are again similar to the old?
Unfortunately not, you
I'm
can't
feeling
get
that
that.
might be happening, yeah.
It would be wonderful if somebody did a lovely wrought iron,
Yep, it would.
but they don't. So it's more of a similar design to the doubles and triples that we already have. They will just look a bit cleaner and fresher.
Okay.
Bus stops, they're still looking quite scruffy. Be quite nice to see the list of what did we say, there were 20 stops or something in the town? But I walked my one on Reading Road and that's still quite scruffy. Quite nice to see the list and at what stage they're being washed.
What?
Oh no, that's bus stop. Oh, that's the bus stop
But
bus stop audit, is that
yeah, so Paul's been doing a kind of bus shelter.
bus shelters, right,
kind of
yes. that-
audit,
Yeah,
and there are a few that actually need proper renovation.
Yes.
There are a bit past just cleaning that they need, paints,
Mm.
kind of replacing, that sort of thing. So I know that's certainly something that Paul is prioritising
yeah.
at the moment,
So that would be
and getting
quite-
quotes for.
Yeah, okay, so that's happening, because everyone I see, actually, one on Grays Road Scruffy and the Green Road one Scruffy. Yeah.
Yeah,
we have
the one by
about-
the pram walk by Mickens is needs
Yes.
work, and I think,
Yes.
yes, there was one down Reading Road as well.
Yes, yeah, which is quite scruffy.
Who has the responsibility for this? Is
Paul.
that- Oh, right, okay.
Maybe you could give us a bit more detail.
Because it's
Next
because it's kind of like street scene, basically. So usually if it's anything to do with our property, our assets, it is
Mm.
recreation amenities. But where it is where it's more street scene or street furniture on public highway, then it's town centre manager, it's like a street scene civic pride.
Mm.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I think Daisy, you sent me this interesting Facebook post or image about green spaces on top of bus shelters.
Really?
Could that be an opportunity for us as part of our, general greening Henley and
Like green roofs.
green roofs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to consider.
Yeah. So
How would we note that? I know we can't make decisions here, but is that just something to?
I'll mention it.
Ask
Well,
Paul.
we could ask Paul, we could also ask Kelly and Bloom, they
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, and I have noted the finger signs at the bottom of Bell Street, thinking, oh, they look rather nice. So that's when I was walking home one day, I spotted those. So I was smiling because I have been on a wonderful holiday to Swanage in Dorset, and I found myself suddenly looking at bins. Wherever I go, I now look at roads.
That's the councillor's
And
curse.
I look at bins, and there were some really interesting
Bins.
posters saying, if this bin is full, please take your rubbish home with you. And it was there, just literally put on the bins. And Swanage is a very popular kind of seaside little town. Lots of people coming in on the steam train and, on the bus and driving. So I just wondered if, we always continue to have conversations about bins, like, have we done anything around trying to encourage people to take their rubbish home?
Well, I have noticed in the marketplace, it's not unusual for a bin to be full and have
Yeah.
rubbish carefully placed around it. When there's an adjacent bin about 20 metres away, which is empty, and I can't understand the psychology of people who can't who do that. It's very odd.
I think if it's tourists, they may not know that there is another.
You could see, they're in your eye line if you lift your eyes. So yes, I think some people will never be encouraged. I think the idea isn't a bad one, but I know there are people who think that we shouldn't have bins and everyone should just take the rubbish.
Yeah.
But I don't think that would work.
I think the difficulty is the people who are likely to do it will probably continue to do it. And with the lovely brand new bins, attaching a sign to the bins.
Where would you put a sign on the nice new bins?
Yeah, it's
If there is a bin somewhere that particularly gets full, we can test it. But yeah, the new bins.
Yeah, I know, you wouldn't really want to
Put a sign
put
on
a
it.
sign on it.
although we
but-
would say with the increased capacity, of course, the bins won't be full
It won't be
anymore.
full.
So it won't be a problem.
Our bins
Which will
emptied
be daily,
daily.
and yeah, and more than daily if needed.
At the busy
by-
times.
by different. In theory.
Before we move on to the tourism strategy, can I just ask a question? And which is not covered in the town centre manager's update, but there is the planned changeover from Aviva to Arriva, sorry, to Reading Borough Council's bus service. Is there any need for us to be talking to Reading about this?
I've had many meetings with them, they're bringing a bus tomorrow, and putting it
Yeah.
outside the town hall to
Quite
promote their
actually.
news service.
Mm.
So we're doing a big program tomorrow.
Is there any differences in the services? Because
No, the area is still covered. I don't know the timings, I imagine are different, but there's no route will be lost because it is being taken over by Reading Bus.
okay, all I'd say is if there are any changes, I think it's worthwhile communication to the,
They're coming,
Public.
they are doing a
Okay,
big,
all
big
right.
thing on it
Fair
tomorrow,
enough.
so.
thank you.
So when you say communicating changes, are they going to put something
Yeah,
about
they've
social
got-
media? So they're,
University of
they've
Out,
got-
they've got social media posts to
Okay.
go out, they're
Great.
doing a whole thing.
Why is it happening? Is it as really?
The other company, dunno, pulled out, so they filled the gap.
Is
because-
that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
they're
know why-
electric.
I don't know why
buses,
the other company stopped.
Some of them are,
Some of them, because
But whether
the
they
Reading
are-
buses are good, aren't they?
Yeah,
but whether they're on this long distance journey,
They should be able to.
I don't know.
yeah, but then the
Yeah.
sample bus will be coming tomorrow.
Right, okay.
yeah. You've got to be here tomorrow at 12 o'clock for a photo.
Well, I'm
shoot.
here because I'm signing something tomorrow.
I hope to be here, might be a bit late.
Yes,
indeed,
yes, I'm
yes.
here at 11:45 doing that, so,
Excellent.
yeah.
So let's move on then to the,
Sorry. Sorry, one last question. So it's really exciting to hear about the last night of the proms in September. I know there's discussions with the mayor, but does it need any other meetings to sign off, given the fact that we don't meet over August? Or is there enough time?
So, two things on that, if I may. The first is it probably won't happen as it clashes with the illuminated boat parade and the Henley show, isn't it? So it's probably not. a
And
good
the
thing for
mayor
them.
is at both events.
How's he gonna do that?
So
Lovely
if,
show in the day and then illuminated boat parade from 6
Yeah.
to 10.
Okay,
So we discussed it, we were looking at licensing, we were looking at all the things, and we went, hold on, it's Henley show all day. And then the
Mm,
illuminated
and
boat
then the
parade,
evening,
the evening
yeah.
Rory's there, and thought
And the
most
lighting
sociable people at
exposure.
Henley will be at those.
Mm.
So it'd be quite a tough sell, I think. I think we should definitely plan it for next year, if the date isn't Henley show and illuminated boat parade day. I will email the friends and say,
Who's going to pay for that?
so. Wouldn't cost anything, I don't really to. have
What to put the,
So they were gonna do tables, weren't they, that you could come and have a table and that. would
And then the
donate
big
towards
TV?
it. Yeah,
and who is
So
paying for the big TV
we were
then?
just looking at the prices, we haven't
Oh,
got
right,
that far, and
okay.
then we've actually gone,
Mm,
this doesn't seem like a good shout. Do it
Yeah.
on that day,
yeah, makes sense.
particularly as the person wanting it isn't gonna be there.
Good point.
all right, let's move on then. If you're happy to move on to the tourism and filming update.
Mm,
Any comments on that?
Be just very interesting to see how it unfolds, really. They're busy filming in Hambledon, aren't they, in Harpston.
Mm.
Occasionally they. film
Have you
here.
been to Hambledon?
Not recently, I haven't seen
I've
it.
been there.
We've been there.
When, what is really interesting is the amount of activity that goes on
Mm,
in a film, and if you go down the street from the village,
mm,
there's an entire probably about 30 or 40
mm,
large vans.
mm.
So I mean, if we are going
It's
to have,
huge.
if we're going to have filming on site, we need to recognise how we actually manage it for the public at large.
Mm. Yes, it'll be very interesting how this unfolds, really. Yeah.
I have a question, Richard. Bear in mind, I'm part of this group, and I've been involved with the large businesses which are participating in this group. One of the things I feel strongly about is that the smaller businesses should be at least made aware of these plans. And also that there should be some discussion, well, not discussion, but advice to the general public, the residents of the plans. I think probably if we can put that, I'll write to Paul and just ask that question. But I think it is very much dominated by the large businesses. And I think we need to make the smaller businesses aware as well.
Sorry, aware of what plans?
The tourism strategy,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but also if it comes up, the filming.
If the film comes up, she would be very good at putting the right information together. She's a very experienced woman, so she would
Yeah,
know
I
how to
agree.
do that.
Yeah,
But, yeah,
okay. So let's move on then to
Oh,
the
sorry.
final, sorry.
Again, sorry, my recent holiday to Swanage, again, got me thinking about different local town initiatives, and they had this wonderful initiative called the Heart of Swanage, because they recognised that there were some really local shops that were missing out
Yeah.
on, you know, people that were coming down to see all the other big attractions like the adventure golf and
Yeah.
other things like that. So it intrigued me to find out how these smaller local independent shops kind of banded together, and they've got this whole like leaflet saying the heart of Swanage and a
Hmm,
little area. So it was a very good example of people who were businesses and local shops who were feeling left out. They actually did something about it,
Yeah.
and then got everything on track in order to celebrate the heart of Swanage. I can find a link to kind of send it, because it was a very interesting, inspiring example I found, that really worked well.
Could you send that, please?
I
would you?
will, yes.
Thank you very much.
So she's working on a strategy, is she, on a tourism
Yeah.
strategy? That's the idea. And when will we see something on what strategy? might look
It's
like?
not clear what the timing is.
she's only got
Um,
6 months, so
Yeah,
Hmm,
what, I can't remember when she started now, but she's got to be
I think
halfway
it's
through.
April.
hmm.
April, May, June, yeah, so she's over halfway, so she's got 2 months still.
To breeze.
Oh, sorry, May. It's May.
Oh, May,
Because it'll be very interesting what she says, actually.
okay, let me move on then if I may to finance. Are there any particular issues we need to cover?
I didn't have anything particularly to note unless anybody has any questions.
I have two questions. One, the 2023 Christmas festivities. There was a loss there. We're planning for a year end. No loss at all, or no income.
Oh, so do you mean the
Yeah.
Christmas festivities
Yeah.
or council run expenses? Sorry, council run events.
No, festivities.
Yeah, they seem to be
That
zero.
was all sponsored,
Yes,
wasn't it?
yeah, so, yes, so the idea is that it should be self-sustaining
Okay,
from this year.
okay. And then the Henley Town Bus Service. There's zero costs in the 3 months, but then going up to £18,000.
Yes, so at the moment, the bus service that we have is funded through SIL. 25,000 was put into the budget, into the revenue budget to fund the expansion of the service. However, that expansion hasn't yet taken place because the 25,000 isn't enough to expand it by itself. And Stefan's been going out to try and find alternative funding in order to make it happen. So until we have that additional funding, then we can't expand the service. Therefore,
Okay.
we don't have expenditure.
That's a 5-day service, really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. And I think slightly longer hours as well.
Okay. Any other questions on the finance, and then let's move on to town crier.
Yes.
Do we have questions, or are we happy to proceed as is recommended?
At the moment, we're paying the £50 to sign him up, this association. And then we then say to him, we'd like you to be at this function and that function. Is that how it works? Presumably?
I mean, it's been a long ongoing arrangement anyway. So I can't remember, I think it says in here, 2018. So he's been doing it for 6 years, anyway, and it's been working absolutely fine. So that wouldn't change. It's just that official recognition.
And have we reimbursed him?
So we give him, I think it is £50
or something.
for an event, so it.
Okay.
It has an annual fee of £50.
It's an annual fee of £50.
Yes,
Wow.
it is.
No,
That's even less.
That's the membership.
That's the membership.
Town
Yeah.
crier.
Quid.
Oh,
Right.
right, yes, I see.
Yeah, but each time
Yes,
he
yes.
performs, we.
Yeah.
He basically asks, he's got the list of events and he just does them every year, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3.1, there's lots of £50 there. But yeah, so he's paid £50 per event, basically just to cover expenses really.
Are we happy to proceed with it?
Yeah, sorry, before we resolve to recommend, I think it's just a case of, is there a period of time, like, is it gonna be the town crier, like, for an item? Or is there a chance that we if we have someone else?
The renewal
Female
of the
town
town-
crier might want to come along. So I'm just wondering, you know, by resolving this, are we saying you are the town crier for as many years as possible? Do we need to put in?
I don't think there is an end date on it, but equally there would be nothing to stop the council reviewing it at any point. We should it will.
Okay, all right, fine.
We could say that, just that, we could, to be reviewed in some date in the
Make
future.
the Town crier position official rather than him necessarily, is that, I might be misunderstood, but I believe that was what the fee was, to have Henry as a registered town crier. place,
Yes.
Yeah.
Rather than it being that person specifically.
He was a de facto.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's the Henley town crier as an official registered position.
But he will also be
He
appointed.
currently has it.
Well, it does actually, the recommendation is, and actually it doesn't need to be a results to recommend, it can just be in results. It doesn't need to go to FSM, although it would now, because obviously we're not chorus. Yes. It says that David Wilson be officially recognised as Henley's town crier, so.
He wanted to be recognised as the official town crier. That was his request originally.
So is there an appointment? And in the appointment letter, is there a timescale?
No.
Yes,
No.
okay.
No, but we could
Should
review
there
it
be-
and appoint someone else if we choose at some point. That's all.
Because if we withdrew it, then he would be no longer a member of this ancient and honourable guild of town criers, unless he
Which I
found
think-
another town to do it.
The ancient honourable guild, I think, was set up in the 1970s.
Oh, so not so ancient then.
Ancient.
There's nothing like an invented tradition.
Are we happy to proceed?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead with that then.
Mhm.
So then we go on to the progress report. Any questions? I have one on the second item. It talked about Thameside South and then Thameside North. I'm not certain what is intended.
I think that should be Thameside South, actually, I don't think. Yes, yeah, no, it'd be Thameside South, not Thameside.
Do we know when the work starts on the bridge? I've been asked when the work will start on bridge repairs.
On the bridge repairs, so the planning application is in at the moment. However, I did have a call towards the end of last week, somebody from Highways who is also looking to do the resurfacing of the bridge, which is separate
Okay.
to the but where you've got the temporary tarmac, which needs to be replaced with the bone slabs. And I believe he's going to be
Yes.
coming in with some examples of the slab that he wants to replace it with, so that we can give our input into that
Yes.
before the work is then undertaken.
Yes, because people have been asking about those, because and it's a lot of money, it's costing them a lot to do this, and I just wondered how speedy they were going to be, or whether it's going to get kicked into next year's budget or something. But we don't know.
I don't know that.
That's Stefan, yes.
Could you explain Awards
Mhm.
and what they're
All these
involved?
things.
So,
Workshops.
Yeah, so we have it's an on-street advertising policy which covers billboards and posters. So I think it was basically because concerns have been raised about the number of billboards and the placement of billboards. Then it was basically carrying out an audit of what billboards we have and how they're being positioned and that sort of thing. So it says this completed. I don't know what the outcome of the assessment.
That was what I was
I don't know what the outcome of the assessment.
Paul went round to look at them, and then we produced a letter to go to people advising them of the rules,
Yeah.
making sure that you are in line with this.
Yeah,
A few of them have been moved that were still out. I think we gave them 2 weeks or something to say this needs to be changed. There were 3 particular ones that were flagged, generally by other businesses not happy with them. So they were dealt with. So I think from that point of view, people are complying. There is something about having a license from SODC or something for be on the pavement. That's questioned a little bit. But technically you should have a license from SODC to have one at all. That's,
Yes.
but so that's advised in the letter, but that isn't something we can necessarily check up on or
okay.
follow through on. And whether that, I don't know, it's not our policy. So,
No, we do, I believe we do have delegated authority. I think we've got section 101 for, yes, we definitely do have a section 101 for so we can physically remove billboards, but that's only if we feel that they're causing an obstruction,
yeah.
not whether or not they're licensed or not.
Okay, thank you for that. Could I ask the question on the very end, which is talk about Marsh Lock footbridge and the new MP being asked to put pressure on the Environment Agency? Has that happened or is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we should write to him. He's the new MP. He ought to be full of energy and looking to implement his manifesto and looking for things to successes to claim. So yes, we should make sure we contact him.
Okay.
Hey, so a couple of points. So I just noticed that there isn't a person responsible for that last item. So I don't know if we can agree who is going to be that.
That seems
Me, that's on the other one here.
Yes, I don't know who that action is down to, but we can take that up with Paul.
Okay. And the other question I had was around similar to the A-Ward. He said that there is a street publicity
On-street advertising. policy.
on-street advertising guidelines. I can't help but notice that there are a number of out-of-date posters that are around town, as well as posters that have been put up like a whole month before an event, and I
Yeah.
thought that there were strict limitations.
This was raised at events subcommittee as well.
Yeah.
It is a continual battle. People do know the rules. We share the rules all the time. The rules are on the website. People ask about the rules. Doesn't mean they follow them. We take down the ones we see councillors take down the ones they see, parks team take down the ones they see. If people see them and can flag them, we can go out, but we don't have the manpower to do a full tour
Sure.
of the town on a daily basis, and that's basically.
Oh, no,
what it
no, I
is.
wouldn't expect it to be on a
But
daily
that's-
basis,
that's
but I
kind
think
of the-
what is the implication? Because I think it's
We
clear,
take them down.
but then you can't then re-advertise the following year. So I
So-
thought there's got to be some kind of
continual
implication
people-
penalty that if you don't take your boards down, then. you
There's
know,
one person that does it every year and they are taken down and it doesn't stop putting them up again.
Yeah.
And we have flagged with them as well that these are the rules and this one needs to be followed. And if you continue to do this, we will continue to take them down, and we do. So it's kind of, people are going to try their luck. I think it's one of those things. We can't find the people or anything that's going to really put them off it. So it's a very
Is
tricky.
there a policy which says any boards been put up should be taken down? I mean, for example, I can see one which is outside Daisyland, which is about the Henley might be a regatta, I don't know what it is, but it's been there for a long time. And I'm just wondering how you can actually enforce that.
Oh, how to enforce?
Well,
So
can you
the,
enforce it?
the first question is, should they been taken down? So they should only be displayed 7 days before the event, and they should be removed 2 days after the event has ended. But Daisy's spoken about what we do about enforcement. SODC do have additional powers to basically, if they're displayed, if they're not removed within 14 days, or if they're displayed more than 28 days before the before it, and they can bring a prosecution under section 224 of the Town Central Planning Act 1990. I think you might find, unfortunately, just that they don't have the resources to do that. So I think that's the issue that we have.
We said at events, if people see them and can flag them with inquiries at email, it means that we know they're there and we can go and try and take them down if we can, and that's the best we.
So should we ask all the councillors to?
Yeah, at the events, that's exactly what we said. If people see them and can just email inquiries out and say, this is here, we don't think it should be, it means that we can not waste time wandering. And just go and just take it down, or if the parks team are in that area, they'd be able to take it down, or someone will be walking home and can take a pair of scissors with them if need be. So I think that's the best advice we can do to get a better system than we currently have, which is people seeing them moaning in their heads, but not actually telling them.
So there's a kind of an implication on that as well, in terms of how do we dispose of these
So it's
posters?
funny you should ask that, because you'll be very delighted by the answer. Because
yes.
there's a bee lady that comes and takes them and uses them for beehives.
No way.
So there you go.
Oh, that's so lovely. So basically, the
Polish.
encouragement.
We love taking down.
If you see poster boards,
Yeah, if they're just paper, they get recycled, but if they're
we
that,
can
that,
bring them
that stuff.
to the town hall
Yeah.
for collection. Is that?
she comes and picks them up when we've got.
So I think that's worth putting on social media.
That's a great
about. That's a really lovely story, that if we can.
We don't want a whole bunch, because she probably can't take thousands, but she takes
But we
the
don't
one
have
we've got.
Thousands.
So
Yeah,
our
but
events, and then the extra ones we
Yeah.
take down all go to her. So.
That's great. I'd love to connect more on that story. but I'm
Right,
very pleased.
with that last point of supporting bees,
We love bees. Yeah, big fan of
I
bees.
think probably that is good.
I was going to report briefly on Towners, if I could.
Yes.
Yes.
So the Town Steering Group met last night in here. We had 20 members of the committee approximately, and 60 members of the public attended. It was quite a full and warm evening. It was very successful. We did invite the Integrated Care Board to attend, a representative to speak and listen. We invited the County Council, we invited Oxford Health. None of them were able to attend. But there was the fact that 80 people turned up shows there's a strong concerns about the loss of the beds last year. That still remains a problem, and the apparent threat to services such as the Rapid Access Care Unit consultancy support, the reduction or loss of the minor injuries unit, and the loss of the out of hours service. Those are all significant concerns. And we passed resolutions in which we would, and I will, these will all appear in the minutes of the TSG, which will come to the next meeting of this committee. But we will continue to press through our contacts at those various stakeholder organisations. And in fact, yesterday, the new MP has he has written to Wes Streeting, the Secretary of State for Health, asking him to use his powers to reopen the decision to close the beds, which he has got. Whether it's top of his agenda, I don't know. But Freddie Miller wrote a very good letter, which I'll forward to the council, but it's on his Twitter feed. Making a very clear case about the failure of the NHS to engage with the community and fail to reassure about the future of the services, and that he regarded this as a failure of the reorganisation of the NHS that took place 2 or 3 years ago to replace the clinical commissioning group with the Integrated Care Board. So we should thank him for that. It's a good sign that he is prepared to stand up again and take action to highlight issues that are of concern to the community. And whether or not we succeed, we don't know. However, we will certainly make clear that the NHS has a duty to engage with the community, and that we will encourage and try and work with them to help them do that.
Thank you. And I think what you're doing is actually very honourable, and I recognise that it's a lot of continuous effort. Hopefully it'll succeed.
Yes, you just have to keep going until eventually the tide turns in your favour in these cases, and that may well have happened. We have a new government who may pursue policies in which there are greater resources, and the organisation, the NHS, is better, and that they become more accountable. Sadly, the Integrated Care Board is one of the least accountable NHS organisations that I've dealt with over 20 years, and that is unfortunate. But we will continue to work constructively with them, and as you say, it may well take some patience on our part, but that is what we're prepared to do. We are not just going to give up.
Okay, well done.
No, Ian and Stefan were brilliant, and it was very much appreciated by the audience. And some of the members around here know exactly the amount of work that you two have done. It was very much appreciated. It wasn't a them and us at all. It was, how can we do something about this, wasn't it?
It was observed that a lot of the people in the audience who asked questions were people who were involved and engaged either as patients or as part of the volunteer bureau, who drive people, or other people who are directly and indirectly affected by health provision. And the questions asked and the comments made were really helpful and constructive. It was a very good meeting.
Yes, no, well said. Thank you.
And I'd also like to thank the Henley Standard, who Phil Sims, Phil attended, and I haven't really talked to him much today, but the Henley Standard continued and got a lot of praise, and rightly so, for the efforts that they've made over the last year, showing that local journalism and investigative journalism is alive and well at the Henley Standard, and have been a great help to publicising this issue and uncovering the facts. This is not the most transparent of organisations, and it's proving very difficult to.
What was, I mean, the audience were not having a go at you at all. It was very much, thank you for what you're doing, and it's a huge struggle, and then their own stories as well. But there certainly wasn't any anger against us, but very much against the ICB and things like that. Yeah, no one could understand why they didn't give you the information you've asked. We pay their salaries. Why don't they?
I can't explain why they are so uncooperative. It's
hiding out there.
Yes, I've worked with many different managers and organisations in the NHS, and the vast majority of those I've dealt with have been well-meaning and caring about the care that they give, and believe that they do owe the community both information and about an accountability. Unfortunately, this organisation hasn't quite picked that up yet.
May I suggest that we put this item on the agenda, even on the progress?
It is on the
It is
progress
on
report,
progress report.
Sorry.
and it will appear on the agenda next time because of the fact the minutes come through this committee.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And we plan to meet again in October. We will meet before then, but we'll certainly try and meet privately with any of those organisations. But in particular the MP, who I would like to make sure that we get behind him, and he has agreed to take up the place that's reserved for the MP on the steering group itself, and that's promising. That his predecessor chose not to.
Okay. Last item.
Well, okay, sorry, it's not on the progress report. I'm just mindful that we had quite major traffic chaos because of the gas works, and I just wondered if there was any or stuff that went on in the town centre.
What kind of update?
Do you know what happened?
There was a gas
Did it?
leak. People in Squid smelt gas.
Okay.
Before they fixed it, hadn't found the gas leak on mains in the road. So they
Wow.
had to dig it up and have to close both ways of the road because it's a major gas leak.
Yeah.
So they have to close the road and then they fixed it very quickly. It was within a day they got it fixed, but then they have to concrete it or whatever they put down, and tarmac it, and then you have to leave it for 12 hours to set. So that's why the last little bit, people were moaning that no work was being done, but it has to be
It has
set
to.
before you can drive over it again. So they did it as quick as they possibly could. And it sucks because it was the main street in the town.
It will be
Yeah.
helpful if that sort of information that you've just given, I know it isn't always available, is made available as soon as possible to both to the town council, but also to the media, and perhaps social media, because people, as you say, they see that nothing's
Yeah.
happening and it's frustrating. But there were good reasons,
Yeah.
and as I understand it, and I think most people, I think, would expect that we have to treat gas leaks with a great deal of caution, even though it's very inconvenient.
Yeah. The information on social media was pretty good.
Was it?
There were
Okay.
quite a few people also saying, actually, I've heard this, and Lawrence Mendwell, he asked, and lots of people were getting, and they were telling us as much as an update as they could as they went along.
Yeah.
So they were pretty good on the commons front generally. Whether we have to look at if a major road like that is changed, are there extra things to help? As in, if we could turn the traffic lights off, I think someone suggested that might help. It might be worth that question of looking if a major road is closed again, are there things we can do to help? Because that didn't happen and could do. I don't know who would do.
One of the things that I heard that someone said that the closure was going to go through until this last Monday.
Monday, yeah.
And
That's just because they asked for an emergency works, which gives.
I see. So that was
They give you a week to fix it,
Okay.
but it actually only
No.
took 4 days or